Welcome back. A fresh controversy has erupted around Nigeria's electoral system after the INEC confirmed that it has suspended one of its own electoral officer over the unauthorized access and alleged leak of voter registration data belonging to Nollywood actor and politician Emeka. The development has sent shockwave across the country, raising fresh questions about the security of millions of Nigerians' personal information stored in the nation's voter register. For years, INEC has repeatedly assured Nigerians that its voter database is protected by sophisticated security systems and cannot be compromised by external attackers. But these latest incidents have shifted attention away from hackers and towards an even more troubling possibility: an insider with legitimate access allegedly using official credentials to obtain confidential voter information without authorization. According to INEC, preliminary investigations have found no evidence that its ICT infrastructure was hacked from outside. The Commission insists that there was no cyber attacks against its servers and that the National Voter Register itself remains secure. Instead, investigators believe the information was allegedly accessed using valid login credentials assigned to officials participating in the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise before it eventually surfaced in the public domain. The Commission says its internal audit system enabled investigators to trace exactly which user accounts accessed the sensitive voter record. That discovery reportedly led security agencies to question officials who had permission to use the system, with one electoral officer now suspended pending the conclusion of investigations. The announcement was made by INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Mohammed Haruna, during a public event organized in Abuja. According to the Commission, the suspension is only an administrative measure, while criminal and regulatory investigations continue. The controversy began after the voter registration details of Nollywood actor and politician Emeka appeared online during a dispute connected to a political party primary election in the Federal Capital Territory. What should have remained confidential information suddenly became public, immediately triggering outrage concerns over whether the personal information of ordinary Nigerians could also be vulnerable. Although the incident involves one individual, the implication extends far beyond Emeka himself. Millions of Nigerians have entrusted INEC with highly sensitive personal information during voter registration exercises. Names, addresses, dates of birth, polling units, and biometric records form part of one of the country's largest public databases. The latest revelation therefore raises a difficult question. If one individual's confidential voter information could allegedly be accessed and disclosed by someone with authorized credentials, how many others could potentially be exposed under similar circumstances? INEC has tried to reassure Nigerians that this was not a system-wide breach. According to the Commission, there is no indication that hackers penetrated its infrastructure or that the voter registration has been compromised. Instead, officials argue that the problem appears to involve the alleged misuse of legitimate access privileges by an insider. Cybersecurity experts have long warned that insider threats often pose greater risks than external attacks, while organizations spend enormous resources defending against hackers. Employees or officials who already possess valid access credentials can sometimes bypass many security barriers if adequate oversight is lacking. That is why INEC says its audit trial became critical in identifying the source of the alleged unauthorized access. Every action performed within sensitive government databases leaves behind digital records showing who logged in, what information was accessed, and when those actions occurred. According to the Commission, those records allow investigators to isolate the specific accounts involved. However, Many Nigerians are now asking whether stronger safeguards should have been in place to prevent confidential voter information from leaving the system in the first place. Critics argue that identifying the source after a leak has already occurred is important, but preventing such incidents entirely should remain the primary objective. Data privacy has become one of the most important issues in modern democracies. Around the world, governments are under increasing pressures to protect citizens' personal information from both cyber criminals and unauthorized internal access. Nigeria is no exception, especially as digital government services continue to expand. The incident also places renewed attention on the responsibility of public officials entrusted with sensitive information. Access to government databases comes with legal and ethical obligations. Unauthorized disclosure of confidential records can undermine public trust not only in electoral institutions, but in government agencies more broadly. Security agencies and data protection regulators are now conducting separate investigations into the circumstances surrounding the alleged leak. Their findings are expected to undermine whether any criminal offenses or violation of Nigeria's data protection laws were committed. If investigators conclude that confidential information was deliberately disclosed without authorization, the individuals responsible could face disciplinary action, prosecution, or additional sanctions, depending on the outcome of the investigations. Political observers say the timing of this controversy is particularly significant, with political activities gradually intensifying ahead of future elections. Confidence in the integrity of Nigeria's electoral institutions remains essential. Public trust in INEC depends not only on credible elections, but also on the Commission's ability to protect the personal information entrusted to it by millions of registered voters. For now, INEC insists Nigerians should not panic. The Commission maintains that there has been no external compromise of its system and emphasizes that the incident appears limited to the alleged misuse of authorized access credentials rather than a large-scale cyber attack. Nevertheless, many Nigerians will be watching closely to see how transparent the Commission remains throughout the investigations. Questions about accountability, internal controls, and data protection are unlikely to disappear until the public receives clear answers about exactly how the information was accessed, why it was allegedly disclosed, and what new safeguards will be introduced to prevent a similar incident from happening again. This case has become more than a dispute involving one politician's voter record. It has evolved into a national conversation about digital privacy, institutional accountability, and the responsibility of public officials entrusted with citizens' most sensitive personal information. As investigations continue, Nigerians will be expecting more than assurances. They will be looking for concrete action, stronger safeguards, and accountability wherever wrongdoing is established. Because in an era where personal data has become one of the world's most valuable assets, protecting the privacy of every registered voter is not just an administrative responsibility. It is fundamental to protecting public confidence in Nigeria's democracy itself. If you find this report insightful, kindly like, share, and subscribe for more updates. I'm Chidera Isom. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next report.